What does it mean to have a Bitcoin? Many people have heard of Bitcoin, that it's a fully digital currency with no government to issue it, and that no banks need to manage accounts and verify transactions. And also that no one really knows who invented it. And yet many people don't know the answer to this question, at least not in full. To get there, and to make sure that the technical details underlying the answer actually feel motivated, what we're going to do is walk through step by step how you might have invented your own version of Bitcoin. We'll start with you keeping track of payments with your friends using a communal ledger, and then as you start to trust your friends and the world around you less and less, and if you're clever enough to bring in a few ideas from cryptography to help circumvent the need for trust, what you end up with is what's called a cryptocurrency. You see, Bitcoin is just the first implemented example of a cryptocurrency, and now there are thousands more on exchanges with traditional currencies. Walking the path of inventing your own can help to set the foundations for understanding some of the more recent players in the game, and recognizing when and why there's room for different design choices. In fact, one of the reasons I chose this topic is that in the last year, there's been a huge amount of attention and investment and, well, honestly, hype directed at these currencies. And I'm not going to comment or speculate on the current or future exchange rates, but I think we'd all agree that anyone looking to buy a cryptocurrency should really know what it is. And I don't just mean in terms of analogies with vague connections to gold mining. I mean an actual direct description of what the computers are doing when we send, receive, and create cryptocurrencies. One thing worth stressing, by the way, is that even though you and I are going to dig into the details here, and that takes meaningful time, you don't actually need to know those details if you just want to use the cryptocurrency. Just like you don't need to know the details of what happens under the hood when you swipe a credit card. Like any digital payment, there's lots of user-friendly applications that let you just send and receive the currencies without thinking about what's going on. The difference is that the backbone underlying this is not a bank that verifies transactions. Instead, it's a clever system of decentralized trustless verification based on some of the math born in cryptography. But to start, I want you to actually set aside the thought of cryptocurrencies and all that just for a few minutes. We're going to begin the story with something more down to earth: ledgers and digital signatures. If you and your friends exchange money pretty frequently, paying your share of the dinner bill and such, it can be inconvenient to exchange cash all the time. So you might keep a communal ledger that records all of the payments that you intend to make some point in the future. Alice pays Bob $20, Bob pays Charlie $40, things like that. This ledger is going to be something public and accessible to everyone, like a website where anyone can go and just add new lines. And let's say that at the end of every month, you all get together, look at the list of transactions, and settle up. If you spent more than you received, you put that money in the pot, and if you received more than you spent, you take that money out. So the protocol for being part of this very simple system might look like this. Anyone can add lines to the ledger, and at the end of every month, you all get together and settle up. Now, one problem with a public ledger like this is that anyone can add a line. So what's to prevent Bob from going and writing Alice pays Bob $100 without Alice approving? How are we supposed to trust that all of these transactions are what the sender meant them to be? Well, this is where the first bit of cryptography comes in: digital signatures. Like handwritten signatures, the idea here is that Alice should be able to add something next to that transaction that proves that she has seen it and that she's approved of it. And it should be infeasible for anyone else to forge that signature. At first, it might seem like a digital signature shouldn't even be possible. I mean, whatever data makes up that signature can just be read and copied by a computer, so how do you prevent forgeries? Well, the way this works is that everyone generates what's called a public key-private key pair, each of which looks like some string of bits. The private key is sometimes also called a secret key, so that we can abbreviate it as SK while abbreviating the public key as PK. Now, as the name suggests, this secret key, it's something you want to keep to yourself. In the real world, your handwritten signature looks the same no matter what document you're signing. But a digital signature is actually much stronger, because it changes for different messages. It looks like some string of ones and zeros, commonly something like 256 bits, and altering the message even slightly completely changes what the signature on that message should look like. Speaking a little more formally, producing a signature involves a function that depends both on the message itself and on your private key. The private key ensures that only you can produce that signature, and the fact that it depends on the message means that no one can just copy one of your signatures and then forge it on another message. Hand in hand with this is a second function used to verify that a signature is valid. And this is where the public key comes into play. All it does is output true or false to indicate if this was a signature produced by the private key associated with the public key that you're using for verification. I won't go into the details of how exactly both these functions work, but the idea is that it should be completely infeasible to find a valid signature if you don't know the secret key. Specifically, there's no strategy better than just guessing and checking random signatures, which you can check using the public key that everyone knows. Now think about how many signatures there are with a length of 256 bits. That's 2 to the power of 256. This is a stupidly large number. To call it astronomically large would be giving way too much credit to astronomy. In fact, I made a supplemental video devoted just to illustrating what a huge number this is. Right here, let's just say that when you verified that a signature against a given message is valid, you can feel extremely confident that the only way someone could have produced it is if they knew the secret key associated with the public key you used for verification. Now, making sure that people sign transactions on the ledger is pretty good, but there's one slight loophole. If Alice signs a transaction like Alice pays Bob $100, even though Bob can't forge Alice's signature on a new message, he could just copy that same line as many times as he wants. I mean, that message-signature combination remains valid. To get around this, what we do is make it so that when you sign a transaction, the message has to also include some sort of unique ID associated with that transaction. That way, if Alice pays Bob $100 multiple times, each one of those lines on the ledger requires a completely new signature. Alright, great. Digital signatures remove a huge aspect of trust in this initial protocol. But even still, if you were to really do this, you would be relying on an honor system of sorts. Namely, you're trusting that everyone will actually follow through and settle up in cash at the end of each month. What if, for example, Charlie racks up thousands of dollars in debt and just refuses to show up? The only real reason to revert back to cash to settle up is if some people, I'm looking at you, Charlie, owe a lot of money. So maybe you have the clever idea that you never actually have to settle up in cash as long as you have some way to prevent people from spending too much more than they take in. Maybe what you do is start by having everyone pay $100 into the pot, and then have the first few lines of the ledger read, Alice gets $100, Bob gets $100, Charlie gets $100, etc. Now, just don't accept any transactions where someone is spending more than they already have on that ledger. For example, if the first two transactions are Charlie pays Alice $50 and Charlie pays Bob $50, if he were to try to add Charlie pays you $20, that would be invalid as if he had never signed it. Notice, this means that verifying a transaction requires knowing the full history of transactions up to that point. And this is, more or less, also going to be true in cryptocurrencies, though there is a little room for optimization. What's interesting here is that this step removes the connection between the ledger and actual physical US dollars. In theory, if everyone in the world was using this ledger, you could live your whole life just sending and receiving money on this ledger without ever having to convert to real US dollars. In fact, to emphasize this point, let's start referring to the quantities on the ledger as ledger dollars, or LD for short. You are, of course, free to exchange ledger dollars for real US dollars. For example, maybe Alice gives Bob a $10 bill in the real world in exchange for him adding and signing the transaction Bob pays Alice 10 ledger dollars to this communal ledger. But exchanges like that, they're not going to be guaranteed by the protocol. It's now more analogous to how you might exchange dollars for euros or any other currency on the open market. It's just its own independent thing. This is the first important thing to understand about Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrency. What it is a ledger. The history of transactions is the currency. Of course, with Bitcoin, money doesn't enter the ledger with people buying in using cash. I'll get to how new money enters the ledger in just a few minutes. But before that, there's actually an even more significant difference between our current system of ledger dollars and how cryptocurrencies work. So far, I've said that this ledger is in some public place, like a website where anyone can add new lines. But that would require trusting a central location, namely, who hosts the website, who controls the rules of adding new lines. To remove that bit of trust, we'll have everybody keep their own copy of the ledger. Then when you want to make a transaction, like Alice pays Bob 100 ledger dollars, what you do is broadcast that out into the world for people to hear and to record on their own private ledgers. But unless you do something more, this system is absurdly bad. How could you get everyone to agree on what the right ledger is? When Bob receives a transaction, like Alice pays Bob 10 ledger dollars, how can he be sure that everyone else received and believes that same transaction? That he'll be able to later on go to Charlie and use those same 10 ledger dollars to make a transaction? Really, imagine yourself just listening to transactions being broadcast. How can you be sure that everyone else is recording the same transactions and in the same order? This is really the heart of the issue. This is an interesting puzzle. Can you come up with a protocol for how to accept or reject transactions and in what order, so that you can feel confident that anyone else in the world who's following that same protocol has a personal ledger that looks the same as yours? This is the problem addressed in the original Bitcoin paper. At a high level, the solution that Bitcoin offers is to trust whichever ledger has the most computational work put into it. I'll take a moment to explain exactly what that means. It involves this thing called a cryptographic hash function. The general idea that we'll build to is that if you use computational work as a basis for what to trust, you can make it so that fraudulent transactions and conflicting ledgers would require an infeasible amount of computation to bring about. Again, I'll remind you that this is getting well into the weeds beyond what anyone would need to know just to use a currency like this. But it's a really cool idea, and if you understand it, you understand the heart of Bitcoin and of other cryptocurrencies. So first things first, what's a hash function? The inputs for one of these functions can be any kind of message or file, it really doesn't matter. And the output is a string of bits with some kind of fixed length, like 256 bits. This output is called the hash or the digest of the message, and the intent is that it looks random. It's not random, it always gives the same output for a given input. But the idea is that if you slightly change the input, maybe editing just one of the characters, the resulting hash changes completely. In fact, for the hash function that I'm showing here, called SHA-256, the way the output changes as you slightly change that input is entirely unpredictable. You see, this is not just any hash function. It's a cryptographic hash function. That means it's infeasible to compute in the reverse direction. If I show you some string of ones and zeros and ask you to find an input so that the SHA-256 hash of that input gives this exact string of bits, you will have no better method than to just guess and check. And again, if you want a feel for how much computation would be needed to go through 2 to the 256 guesses, just take a look at the supplement video. I actually had way too much fun writing that thing. You might think that if you just really dig into the details of how exactly this function works, you could reverse engineer the appropriate input without having to guess and check. But no one has ever figured out a way to do that. Interestingly, there's no cold, hard, rigorous proof that it's hard to compute in the reverse direction. And yet, a huge amount of modern security depends on cryptographic hash functions and the idea that they have this property. If you were to look at what algorithms underlie the secure connection that your browser is making with YouTube right now, or that it makes with your bank, you will likely see the name SHA-256 show up in there. For right now, our focus will just be on how such a function can prove that a particular list of transactions is associated with a large amount of computational effort. Imagine someone shows you a list of transactions, and they say, "Hey, I found a special number so that when you put that number at the end of this list of transactions and apply SHA-256 to the entire thing, the first 30 bits of that output are all zeros." How hard do you think it was for them to find that number? Well, for a random message, the probability that a hash happens to start with 30 successive zeros is 1 in 2 to the 30, which is about 1 in a billion. And because SHA-256 is a cryptographic hash function, the only way to find a special number like that is just guessing and checking. So this person almost certainly had to go through about 1 billion different numbers before finding this special one. And once you know that number, it's really quick to verify. You just run the hash and see that there are 30 zeros. So in other words, you can verify that they went through a large amount of work, but without having to go through that same effort yourself. This is called a proof of work. And importantly, all of this work is intrinsically tied to the list of transactions. If you change one of those transactions, even slightly, it would completely change the hash. So you'd have to go through another billion guesses to find a new proof of work, a new number that makes it so that the hash of the altered list, together with this new number, starts with 30 zeros. So now think back to our distributed ledger situation. Everyone is there broadcasting transactions, and we want a way for them to agree on what the correct ledger is. As I said, the core idea behind the original Bitcoin paper is to have everyone trust whichever ledger has the most work put into it. The way this works is to first organize a given ledger into blocks, where each block consists of a list of transactions together with a proof of work. That is, a special number so that the hash of the whole block starts with a bunch of zeros. For the moment, let's say that it has to start with, 60 zeros, but later we'll return back to a more systematic way you might want to choose that number. In the same way that a transaction is only considered valid when it's signed by the sender, a block is only considered valid if it has a proof of work. And also, to make sure that there's a standard order to these blocks, we'll make it so that a block has to contain the hash of the previous block at its header. That way, if you were to go back and change any one of the blocks, or to swap the order of two blocks, it would change the block that comes after it, which changes that block's hash, which changes the one that comes after it, and so on. That would require redoing all of the work, finding a new special number for each of these blocks that makes their hashes start with 60 zeros. Because blocks are chained together like this, instead of calling it a ledger, it's common to call it a blockchain. As part of our updated protocol, we'll now allow anyone in the world to be a block creator. What that means is that they're going to listen for transactions being broadcast, collect them into some block, and then do a whole bunch of work to find a special number that makes the hash of that block start with 60 zeros. Then once they find it, they broadcast out the block that they found. To reward a block creator for all this work, when she puts together a block, we'll allow her to include a very special transaction at the top of it, in which she gets, say, 10 ledger dollars out of thin air. This is called the block reward, and it's an exception to our usual rules about whether or not to accept transactions. It doesn't come from anyone, so it doesn't have to be signed, and it also means that the total number of ledger dollars in our economy increases with each new block. Creating blocks is often called mining, since it requires doing a lot of work, and it introduces new bits of currency into the economy. But when you hear or read about miners, keep in mind that what they're really doing is listening for transactions, creating blocks, broadcasting those blocks, and getting rewarded with new money for doing so. From the miner's perspective, each block is kind of like a miniature lottery, where everyone is guessing numbers as fast as they can until one lucky individual finds a special number that makes the hash of the block start with many zeros, and they get the reward. For anyone else who just wants to use this system to make payments, instead of listening for transactions, they all start listening just for blocks being broadcast by miners and updating their own personal copies of the blockchain. Now, the key addition to our protocol is that if you hear two distinct blockchains with conflicting transaction histories, you defer to the longest one, the one with the most work put into it. If there's a tie, just wait until you hear an additional block that makes one of them longer. So even though there's no central authority and everyone is maintaining their own copy of the blockchain, if everyone agrees to give preference to whichever blockchain has the most work put into it, we have a way to arrive at decentralized consensus. To see why this makes for a trustworthy system, and to understand at what point you should trust that a payment is legit, it's actually really helpful to walk through exactly what it would take to fool someone using this system. Maybe Alice is trying to fool Bob with a fraudulent block. Namely, she tries to send him one that includes her paying him 100 ledger dollars, but without broadcasting that block to the rest of the network. That way, everyone else still thinks that she has those 100 ledger dollars. To do this, she would have to find a valid proof of work before all of the other miners, each working on their own block. And that could definitely happen. Maybe Alice just happens to win this miniature lottery before everyone else. But Bob is still going to be hearing the broadcasts made by other miners. So to keep him believing this fraudulent block, Alice would have to do all of the work herself to keep adding blocks on this special fork in Bob's blockchain that's different from what he's hearing from the rest of the miners. Remember, as per the protocol, Bob always trusts the longest chain that he knows about. Alice might be able to keep this up for a few blocks if just by chance she happens to find blocks more quickly than the rest of the miners on the network all combined. But unless she has close to 50% of the computing resources among all of the miners, the probability becomes overwhelming that the blockchain that all of the other miners are working on grows faster than the single fraudulent blockchain that Alice is feeding to Bob. So, after enough time, Bob's just going to reject what he's hearing from Alice in favor of the longer chain that everyone else is working on. Notice, that means that you shouldn't necessarily trust a new block that you hear immediately. Instead, you should wait for several new blocks to be added on top of it. If you still haven't heard of any longer blockchains, you can trust that this block is part of the same chain that everyone else is using. And with that, we've hit all the main ideas. This distributed ledger system, based on a proof of work, is more or less how the Bitcoin protocol works, and how many other cryptocurrencies work. There's just a few details to clear up. Earlier, I said that the proof of work might be to find a special number so that the hash of the block starts with 60 zeros. Well, the way the actual Bitcoin protocol works is to periodically change that number of zeros so that it should take, on average, 10 minutes to find a new block. So as there are more and more miners added to the network, the challenge actually gets harder and harder in such a way that this miniature lottery only has about one winner every 10 minutes. Many newer cryptocurrencies actually have much shorter block times than that. And all of the money in Bitcoin ultimately comes from some block reward. In the beginning, these rewards were 50 Bitcoin per block. There's actually a great website you can go to called Block Explorer that makes it easy to look through the Bitcoin blockchain. And if you look at the very first few blocks on the chain, they contain no transactions other than that 50 Bitcoin reward to the miner. But every 210,000 blocks, which is about every 4 years, that reward gets cut in half. So right now, the reward is 12.5 Bitcoin per block. And because this reward decreases geometrically over time, it means there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin in existence. However, this doesn't mean that miners will stop earning money. In addition to the block reward, miners can also pick up transaction fees. The way this works is that whenever you make a payment, you can purely optionally include a little transaction fee with it that's going to go to the miner of whichever block includes that payment. The reason you might do that is to incentivize miners to actually include the transaction that you broadcast into the next block. You see, in Bitcoin, each block is limited to about 2,400 transactions, which many critics argue is unnecessarily restrictive. For comparison, Visa processes an average of about 1,700 transactions per second, and they're capable of handling more than 24,000 per second. This comparatively slow processing on Bitcoin makes for higher transaction fees, since that's what determines which transactions miners choose to include in a new block. All of this is far from a comprehensive coverage of cryptocurrencies. There are still many nuances and alternate design choices that I haven't even touched. But my hope is that this can provide a stable wait but why style tree trunk of understanding for anyone looking to add a few more branches with further reading. Like I said at the start, one of the motives behind this is that a lot of money has started flowing towards cryptocurrencies. And even though I don't want to make any claims about whether that's a good or bad investment, I really do think that it's healthy for people getting into the game to at least know the fundamentals of the technology. As always, my sincerest thanks to those of you making this channel possible on Patreon. I understand that not everyone is in a position to contribute, But if you're still interested in helping out, one of the best ways to do that is simply to share videos that you think might be interesting or helpful to others. I know you know that, but it really does help. I also want to thank Protocol Labs for their support of this video. This is an organization that runs a number of different research and development projects, and if you follow some of the links I've left in the description to read into the details of those projects, you'll notice some strong parallels with the concepts covered in this video. The challenges and benefits of decentralization are by no means limited to currency and to transaction histories, and the usefulness of tools from cryptography, like hash functions and digital signatures, are likewise much more general. For example, a couple of Protocol Labs projects, such as IPFS and Filecoin, center on the idea of distributed file storage, which opens up a whole field of interesting challenges and possibilities. For any developers among you, Protocol Labs places a very high value on open source, so if you're interested, you can join what's already a very strong community of contributors. But they're also looking to hire full-time developers, so if you think you might be a good fit there, definitely apply.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? You're on the Boss Coin YouTube channel. I'm Bosk, and today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency and earning passive income in cryptocurrency. This is not like a clickbait video. It's not BS. It's not whatever. Right now I'm earning over $60 a day staking cryptocurrencies. Specifically, most of that revenue is coming from a big stake in one specific coin. Okay, I'm also going to talk about how this breaks down to I'm earning almost $2,000 in cryptocurrency every single month. And again, this isn't a shill. This isn't like, oh, I'm so cool, look at me. I am going to illustrate how you can do this too, but understand that this is extremely risky. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Boss Coin YouTube channel. Right now we are chasing 100,000 subscribers. We are producing a video a day, which is a lot of freaking work. Okay, so if you want to learn about passive income in crypto, we are the channel for you. And that's what today's video is going to be all about. The unique ways to earn passive income in cryptocurrency and how you can replicate everything I'm doing in this video if you want to take that risk. Let's jump into the big red winner here. And keep in mind, this is fully transparent stuff. I'm gonna have you linked out. You can verify everything I'm talking about by clicking the links in the video description below. Okay, so the first big chunk of this passive income we're earning in cryptocurrency is based off of Energy, NRG. Okay, it was a previously mineable cryptocurrency that has now moved to a proof of stake network. Basically, what that means is that they reward people for holding their cryptocurrency and running nodes, which basically decentralize and run their blockchain and thus network. So you can see here, big stake in coins and a big USD valuation. This is not all mine. Again, it's not a flex, but I am involved with this. So, this is a stake associated with us, and I'm, operating the node and making sure that it stays up, and basically we get these earnings. If you want to see the real world earnings at any time in the future, click the link and then it will take you here. And you will be able to see the blocks validated. Okay, basically every time it says block validated, it'll give you a corresponding reward. So 2 hours ago earned 2.28 coins, 3 hours ago 2.28 coins, 9 hours ago 2.28 coins, 13 hours ago 2.28 coins, and at the current price of $3.36, that very quickly adds up to a substantial amount. Okay, so we took we ran the numbers here, and basically, and this was all based off the price at $3.29. So right now it's trading at $3.36, but there's a disclaimer on that. I'll explain more here in a second. Also, obviously every cryptocurrency is risky, but this is in the top 100 by coin market cap. So you can take from that what you will, but just speaking from experience, the higher a coin is in coin market cap, it's relatively less risky. Okay, so again, this was all factored with a $3.29 per coin ratio at 12,800 energy. In this basically staking setup, basically in a crypto wallet, right? And with the coins in there, it hit 8 stakes over 24 hours. So that's 2.28 coins per stake, okay? Times 8, that's 8.24 coins. And again, at that $3.29 valuation, that's $60 a day or about 0.0061 Bitcoin a day, and that would translate out to $1,800 a month, okay, over the next 30 days, or 0.18 Bitcoin, almost a fifth of a Bitcoin in value. You can verify these results with the link that I have in the video description below and in this article. And you can see, what the last 24 hours are worth, or the last 7 days, or whatever. So I took the average of the last 7 days, right? How much money did we earn with that? So we earned 114 coins, which are currently worth about $375. And if you multiply that out, I mean, that's towards like $1,600, or no, it was right here, $1,607, at a 30-day ratio. Right now, we don't have any official guides on setting up a node to do this, but we just followed their official guides, which are linked out here, again, in the video description. And you can run these on a VPS, like a Linux server. You can run these on Windows computers. They have a Mac build that you can run and stake these coins. So you have all of those options right here at your disposal. Also, to be fully clear here, deposits are currently frozen for energy on cryptocurrency exchanges because they're working out any kind of issues or potential bugs with their new Energy 3.0 platform. So please understand, these are essentially unrealizable gains currently. Deposits will open up eventually, and the price could either skyrocket, plummet, or do nothing. That's crypto. One of the other top ways we are earning passive income in cryptocurrency, which we are really excited about right now, is with crypto.com. Okay, so we have a referral link and code in the video description, and then we're not shilling it because of the code. Okay, honestly, I genuinely like it because of one of the main reasons is the staking platform, they call it Crypto Earn. Okay, so basically, if you want to, you can use our code and sign up, and you get $50 sign up bonus for free. If you don't use the code, you don't get that $50. So if you are going to use this, you'd be kind of dumb not to use at least someone's code. And if you use our code, you support the channel and support the mission, and really just help us stick around and make videos like this. You got to download it. It's a mobile app. It goes right here on your iPhone. Honestly, it's a good app. And I wouldn't say that. If you're a follower of the channel, I'm super critical of like everything. And you can see, granted, the last 24 hours have been a good time for cryptocurrency, but you can see that just in the last 24 hours, I'm up $50 or 2.7% on my basically $2,000 here in the app. The app has a lot of utility and options within it. You can see the wallet, you can see the card, you can see pay, you can see rewards, you can see earn, you can see track, and you can see the fiat wallet. Okay, so honestly, this is really cool. Speaking from someone who's been in cryptocurrency for a couple years ago, they didn't have anything close to this. Okay, and one of the key things I want to explain here, okay, is that you can deposit your cryptocurrencies from outside wallets into their app. That is so cool and uncommon. Take something like Robinhood, where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency, right? But you can't send your Bitcoin into Robinhood. For all we know, Robinhood could have zero cryptocurrency and just be trading, based around the prices. You would never know. There's no blockchain action. There's nothing. So if you're wondering about their staking platform, so there is a disclaimer. You do need to sign up. There is a verification process, and you do need to stake 50 of their coins. Right now, it's a little under $300. You need to do that to unlock your $50 sign up bonus, and also to be able to get a higher tier in their Visa debit card. Okay, so that's if you want to use that or whatever. But let's get back to the passive income. Earning more cryptocurrency just by holding it, and which thus translates to earning dollars as well. If you want to sell those coins, part of the really main part here of the video. So this right now is what you would earn staking coins in their platform with a 50 MCO, which is their coin basically, or less stake. And the only way to bump it up to the next tier is you need 500 of their coins, which is, that's no small sum of money. Okay, so 18% on crypto.com coin, 8% on MCO. Basically both of those are their coins. They have BAT token, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, EOS, Binance Coin, and Tezos. They also have Chainlink, Stellar, USD Coin, Cosmos, Maker, and they have support for other coins in their wallet, but those are some of the main coins they have support on Crypto Earn. If you're holding any of these coins right here or right here that we just talked about, wouldn't you want to earn interest on them? I mean, some of these coins you earn 0 interest, or you could earn some interest. Even something like, say, you're a long-term holder of Litecoin. Well, there's nothing that's going to earn you 3% of Litecoin just by holding Litecoin other than using a platform like this. So honestly, that's pretty cool, and it can be pretty beneficial. I haven't been using the platform very long. just to be straightforward here. So I don't have a ton of accrued earnings or anything, but it has been working flawlessly for me for about a month. And some of our community members have spoken very highly of crypto.com and their staking crypto earn mechanism in here. So you can see my results. I've only earned a whopping $10 on my $1,700 that I have in there. This is what I have in there. I've got a 1-month term on crypto.com coin Crow. I've got a 3-month term on Chainlink and Tezos, and another one on Tezos down there. And what's really cool is they pay you out weekly, and you get paid out in the coin you're staking. So take my stake here of 10,000 Crow, and I'm getting this many coins every single week just for having them in there. Like if I was into this coin and I wanted to hold it, this applies to literally any coin you want to insert. Say you love Chainlink, right? And you want to earn some. Well, you can put it in here, and now you can earn 4% interest on it. And again, you get paid in the coin you are staking, which is super cool. It's not like they're paying, I'm staking Tezos here, and they're paying me in something else. And I know that staking Tezos is a popular thing, and there's a lot of options for that, but not all of these coins have a lot of options. Again, say like Ethereum, and they have their Ethereum 2.0 platform coming up. But to participate in that, you're going to need 32 Ethereum, okay? And that's almost $7,000 at the price it's trading at right now. And speaking of this, we actually are planning to do this, which is also why I'm bringing it up in the video. You would earn 0.2 Ethereum, which again, this is another example where you would get paid out in the relevant coin, which is about $44, or you'd earn about 2.4 Ethereum annually, which at current prices equates out to a little bit over $500. Also, I made a mistake when I recently talked about this. You're not locked up for 180 days period. You can request to withdraw, and your withdrawal time will be, basically you'll get it out within a day is what that is summarized at. But the reason I was bringing this up to compare it to the crypto.com earn app is because you can go into this, you can stake with a minimum of 1 Ethereum in their app, and you would earn 4% interest with a 3-month staking term. Okay, so that's significantly less investment than 32 Ethereum. It's like almost $7,000 versus almost $200. There's a lot of other ways to earn passive income in cryptocurrency. You could explore things like masternodes, but understand that anything in cryptocurrency is risky. A lot of these masternodes, again, are risky, and I know we've basically been talking about things relevant to masternodes. To be clear, like with the energy we talked about earlier, there's a staking mechanism as well as a masternode mechanism. You can participate in either. The masternodes are actually supposed to have a higher ROI or return on your investment than the staking. Right now, we're only doing the staking portion of that. But understand, if you're going to get into this, you're going to want to hold these coins for a while, and you're going to want to be confident in those because, like maybe you could make good returns on a node, but if that coin plummets in price, you got to be ready to weather the storm. You don't want to just sell the bottom. And really, when it comes to cryptocurrency, you kind of need a long-term vision. I would never recommend, long-term buying any coins or projects that you don't believe in, at least to a certain extent. You got to be into this stuff. You got to think it's cool. You got to support it because cryptocurrency is very volatile, and I understand that. And some of the coins I hold and have been staking, I've had them for some of them for years. Okay. And maybe there are good times to sell and good times to buy. And, I try to do the best between, selling coins when I need to and buying coins when I have the funds. And it also seems like a good opportunity to buy them. But, I'm personally in it for the long term of cryptocurrency. I want to increase my coin holdings. And sure, I hope their USD valuation goes up along the way because I can't just say, hey, a mortgage company, could you accept Bitcoin for my next payment? So obviously I sell some coins, but my main goal is to increase my holdings and just continue to enjoy and use cryptocurrency because in my opinion, it's the next financial, or it's already here, but it's the next financial revolution. Okay, we went from paper, this goes way back, barter and trading things, gold, silver, coins, paper money, digital money, right? And now this is the next evolution of digital money. Okay, it's blockchain, it's immutable, it's, we can analyze everything on the blockchain to reduce and scamming and all that. I could go on and on. My point is, I love cryptocurrency. I hope you do too. If you do, please make sure to subscribe to the Bosscoin YouTube channel. Leave a thumbs up on the video, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see y'all on the next one.
Shine. What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Now boy oh boy do we have a bit of a bloodbath right now. I mean 12% Bitcoin, Ethereum down 11%, Ripple down 11%, Bcash who cares, Litecoin $165, wow, Neo $84, Monero $256. That is absolutely ridiculous on the USD chart. In fact, I'm going to take a look at Monero on the BTC. Ooh, 8%. That's pretty tasty, to be honest. Monero's not bad right now. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be teaching you how to make money from trading if you are a complete beginner. Now, it's a very, very simple method, an easy thing to do. And all you need is really a Bittrex or a Binance or a Bitfinex account, something like that. And then you can use a platform called TradingView, which is here. You do not have to use that though, although it can help. But in essence, all you really need is CoinMarketCap, which of course everyone has, and a website like Bittrex or Bitfinex or Binance, something like that. So it's going to be really, really simple and easy for you to follow along and get some great advice how you can make $50 to $100 a day extra on top of your income, just to make a little bit more passive income. Now, if you do like the sound of this video and you are interested in getting more in-depth videos about trading, ICOs, mining, and how you can profit from cryptocurrency in general, I recently launched the Bitcoin Blueprint. It's a fully developed course with over 40 videos in there teaching you exactly how you can make money online with cryptocurrency. There are still a few places left for the first 100 people, free crypto shirt shipped to your door, one-on-one Skype call, private email access, private Facebook group. The Facebook group's actually growing. It's really nice. We've got some pretty positive people inside there. And of course, private live streams. So definitely check that first link down below if you were looking at taking crypto a little bit more seriously in 2018. However, if you're not bothered about a paid course or anything like that, I do have 3 videos for free on mining, ICOs, and trading. That'll be the second link down in the description. So enough with the shameless plugs, and let's get into the video. This video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can make money trading if you're basically a beginner or a newbie to crypto. Now, even if you've been in crypto a few weeks or a few months, this isn't a guaranteed method, but it's pretty much the easiest way that you can make any money in crypto with trading without investing into any schemes or mining or anything like that. You're pretty much in control of your money somewhat. So you want to go over to CoinMarketCap.com, and rather than viewing the prices in USD, because most people don't buy in USD, as you can only really buy from Coinbase, like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum, which is not bad. Most people in fact trade in BTC, Bitcoin. So come over to Coinbase, click here and click BTC. Now we're going to see the prices in BTC. We're going to see the volume in BTC, the price in BTC, and the change in 24 hours. Now the change in 24 hours is going to be the thing we're interested in. So we just click this once, it will give us the highest gain, and boy oh boy has NEM been doing well through this crash. And we're going to click change in 24 hours again, and this is going to give us the biggest decrease in the last 24 hours against BTC, against Bitcoin. Now pretty much if you see a coin on here in the top, let's say top 5, top 10 here on the biggest changes, if it's a reasonably decent coin and it's got a good strategy behind it, it's got a good team, everything like that, and you can go ahead and check it out, check where previous support was, check where previous resistance was. I'm going to show you that in a second, but you can really start to make a bit of profit every single day just by finding the change in 24-hour coins. Now this is super like not newbie, but super kind of beginner, but the tactics still work regardless if you're a beginner or advanced. I do teach more advanced trading tactics in the Bitcoin Blueprint, so if you were interested in that, the first link down below. But we're going to take a look at one down here that it's pretty popular. You want to be looking at volume as well. You want to have a volume of 24 hours of around, you're looking for around 500,000 to 1 million or more USD. So if we go ahead and 500,000 divided by, what's Bitcoin right now, like 9,000, we're looking at around 55 or more Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. So most of these have that. Blocknet doesn't have that, but anything, let's say above 50 to 100 Bitcoin, you're going to be fine trading. It should be okay. So we do have Nano down there. That would be a great one, but for today's video I'm going to be using Bittrex. So Nano's not listed on Bittrex, but Nano's been decreasing by 10% recently. So if you got into that, that could potentially be quite profitable. But I'm going to come down here to one called Cyrcoin. Now Cyrcoin is basically cloud storage. I was already invested in it all the way back here, and I sold at the peak here at the pump and took my profits, and I bought back in around about down here somewhere. So I do trade Sia coin quite a bit. I do know it a little bit well, and it's definitely a nice coin, and the volume is 6.8 million in 24 hours. So there's definitely volume there for you to trade with. So what you're going to want to do, this is slightly more advanced, but you can still do it. Go over to tradingview.com. You can make yourself an account completely free to make. And basically when you get on your account, in the top left hand corner, you just want to type SC, which is the identifier for Sia coin. Now you may see all these lines on the chart, the RSI, the MACD, the Bollinger Bands. You don't have to have these. It does help. If you want to add them, you just come up here to this little line here, indicators. Click on that. You can type MACD, add the MACD. You can add the RSI, relative strength index, bought, like overbought and oversold, and you can add the Bollinger Bands and the moving average. My RSI is set to 30 and 70, and my Bollinger Bands, I believe, are 25 close too. So they're pretty standard sets. The easiest way to see if it's going to be potentially interesting to look into, I think, is by cross-referencing the RSI and the Bollinger Bands. So this is just very basic tactics, guys. So you want to add, we'll get rid of the MACD. We'll get rid of the MACD for now. We don't need the MACD. So we got rid of the MACD. Now we have the RSI and the Bollinger Bands, and of course the price. So we're going to minimize this because it's a bit annoying. So we're going to go ahead and look at the 1 hour chart, and we're going to reference this to the 4 hour chart as well. We can see here on basically the very, very basic fundamentals is when the candlesticks touch the lower portion of the Bollinger Band, that's pretty much when we can see them maybe bounce off them. If you just think of these Bollinger Bands as kind of like they bounce off it whenever they hit them. Yes, this is very, very simple analogy. I go over it more in my Bitcoin blueprint. I'm just trying to give an overall beginner's guide to this. So I recommend doing some research on Bollinger Bands and also the RSI, relative strength index, and this will give you more information about it. But effectively, once we have hit the bottom Bollinger Band, in some point we will see an increase. And you can kind of monitor this with the RSI. So we can see down here, the RSI, whenever it crosses under 30 RSI, that most traders, that triggers that they want to buy into the coin or the token. Whereas when the RSI goes outside of the bands, above around 70, now you can set this to whatever you want. 70-30 is pretty standard in the industry. I keep mine on 70-30, but you could put it, for example, 10-90 or 40 and 60, something like that, just depending on how risk averse you are. So we can see here, once it's crossed out of the RSI, it has in fact dropped, and most people use the RSI as a trigger of when to buy and when to sell. Now you might think, okay, that seems a bit easy, but if you take a look back at the market here, we can see the RSI here, it crossed out of the 30 band, which would trigger that the coin is in fact overbought. So many people may be selling it. If it's overbought, many people might want to sell it. This is just basic fundamentals. So when it crossed out here over the RSI below 30, we can see then we followed a pump all the way to out of the RSI above 70. Now this, in very basic terms, would trigger a lot of traders to in fact buy it here and then sell it here. Now this does not always work. Of course it doesn't. Everything is different in trading. You can't truly predict the market exactly. Technical analysis is good for some standpoints, but a lot of media and FUD plays a huge deal in it, in my opinion anyway. So we can see here, if you would have bought in at the bottom here when it crossed out the 30, you would have in fact sold here and it would have been great. You would have made a pretty decent profit. But we can see here it does in fact have almost false triggers. So we can see here it does touch here, it then does go back up, but then kind of has a double bottom like so. So it's definitely interesting to see. If you did want to go ahead and buy some CA coin, all you got to do is go over to Bittrex, make your account, go on to BTC markets, type in SC, that identifier, click CA coin, and we can see it's down 7% against BTC, which is pretty interesting. Now to buy this, all you've got to do is have Bitcoin on your Bittrex account. You just go to wallets and you click the plus button and then deposit your Bitcoin. Once you've got your Bitcoin on there, you can in fact go ahead and trigger a market buy order. So what you want to do, let's say for example you want to get in at, let's move it to the hour chart. Where would we want to get in at? So the previous support was at around 155 Satoshis, I believe. So if we were to get in around now and then trigger a sell order for around 104, yeah, so the support was at around 155 Satoshis. So if we were to get in now and trigger a sell at around 149, 152, we could in fact make a small profit. Now, just doing this a couple of times a day can easily make you $50 to $100 per day, very, very easily. So this has just been a pretty basic video about trading. Of course, I've said this a million times. I have got more advanced trading videos in the Bitcoin Blueprint. You can come down here and have a look over the course. See trading videos here. And I will be adding new trading videos every single week exclusive for the course. So that's definitely very interesting. So let's say, for example, you're wanting to buy 0.1 Bitcoin worth of Cyrcoin. How would you do that? Well, basically, you would come over to Cyrcoin, you would have your BTC in your wallet, as I said before, click the plus button, and then you'll be coming down here. Now, this is the trading section. This is buying Cyrcoin. This is selling Cyrcoin. You can see I do hold around 106,000 Cyrcoin right now. No, I'm not trying to promote this coin. I don't care if you buy it or not. I think the tech behind it is pretty interesting, and that's why I'm buying it and holding it. But if you wanted to buy 0.1 Bitcoin worth of Cyrcoin, you come down here and type 0.1. You would then select the price you wanted to buy Cyrcoin at. Now, do you want to buy at the last market price? Well, if you do, click on price here and click last. That would in fact get you 68,321 Cyrcoin. But you might not want to buy at that price. You may think the market's going to drop from doing your analysis, and you may want to in fact go ahead and buy it at 138 Satoshis. You can just click last here, and then you can in fact alter this here to example 138 Satoshis. Once you've done that, you just type 0.1 BTC again, and basically you get 72,000 Cyrcoin. You just click buy Cyrcoin, and then if the market reaches that price, Bittrex will automatically fulfill that order, and your order will be seen down here in open orders. Now, if you did want to sell it, of course, once you bought it and you've bought it, you can then select a limit sell. Now, let me go on the 1 hour chart, for example, here. We can see that there was in fact a lot of support around the 155, 156, maybe 157 Satoshis line. I did say that earlier. So maybe you want to set a sell order before that if you want to be a bit risk averse, or if you are willing to take a few risks, you could in fact set a sell order for maybe higher up here on this support level, which is around 175 Satoshis. So I would recommend, if you just want to get a small profit, you can in fact set it for about 100 let me go on the 30-minute chart. Around the 153, 152 mark. So what you would do, you would type in here the units you want to sell, which would be 72,000, like so. I'll just copy that in here for now. BTC, what price do you want to pay? I said 100 and, what did I say? 153, let's say 153 Satoshis. You would do it to 153 Satoshis, and then you would type in the amount you want to sell, like so, and you can see you'd in fact make 0.103 Bitcoin. So you'd make a profit of around $105, $110 if you were to do something like that. Now that's a very, very simple trade, but if you can see, if you do something like that every single day, you can easily make $100 to $200 per day profit. Now this was as simple as just going over to CoinMarketCap and checking the losers of the losers. That sounds really bad, but checking the biggest loss of the last 24 hours and simply buying that coin. Now this is really basic fundamental trading advice. Yes, you can make $50 to $100 a day easily doing this, as I showed you just now. I'm not going to be purchasing this. I'm not going to be purchasing this sell order and buy order because I already hold Cyrcoin and I'm pretty happy on my position where I bought in. But this, you can see, would make you 0.01 Bitcoin profit, which is really nice for a trade that would probably take you maybe around 3-4 hours, and that trade could get fulfilled. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, click the first link in the description. Check out the Bitcoin Blueprint. I have so many videos on there about trading, ICOs, mining, how you can profit with cryptocurrency in 2018. If you didn't want to get that, just jump on the list for the free 3 videos, biggest tongue twister of the year, the exclusive 3 Bitcoin Blueprint free videos. about mining, ICOs, and trading. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep hodling, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bitcoin has reached new highs this year and is approaching its all-time high of $19,300 of 2017. Is it too late to get into cryptocurrency? Or is this the beginning of the biggest transfer of wealth in history? Welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and every week I teach you how to earn money online. Now, if you're new to the channel and you'd like to learn how to make more money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our future videos. Before we get started, I want you to know that this is not financial advice and that everything in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. If you enjoy content like this, definitely check me out on Instagram and TikTok. I post over there almost every single day. Thanks again for giving me a follow. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 5 ways to make money with cryptocurrency and how you can get started investing today. And if you stay with me all the way to the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how you can get your hands on some free cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, no strings attached. So let's get started. So you might be asking yourself, why would I even want to invest in cryptocurrency to begin with? Here are 3 interesting money facts that I think are really important for you to know. First, 92% of all the world's currency is digital, and well, cryptocurrency is a digital currency. Number 2, most cryptocurrencies are decentralized, meaning there is no central government or bank that is in control of your money. And the third fact is that banks and governments are literally printing trillions of dollars, and your money is losing money every single year. In fact, inflation takes about 2 to 4% of your money, and if you're just leaving it in a bank account, you're only earning about 0.01%. So you're literally, just by saving your money in the bank, losing 2 to 4% annually. Now, while I understand that cryptocurrency can be quite volatile, if you understand how to invest in it properly, there are ways for you to make incredible gains that you just can't get anywhere else. So now you know why it's so important to start investing in cryptocurrency. Let's get into the 5 ways that you can actually make money with it. The first way, and the easiest way to make money in cryptocurrency, is to buy and hold. We call this the buy and hold strategy. You may even hear people say HODL or HODL, which essentially means hold your cryptocurrency and don't sell it. This is because there's a lot of volatility in cryptocurrency, and it's never ideal to buy something and then sell it at a loss. So how do we actually buy cryptocurrency so we can hold it and then make a profit? Depending on your location, there are many different ways to do this. Here in the United States, one of the easiest ways is to just use a website like PayPal. All you have to do is open up an account, and using your credit card, you can now buy cryptocurrency. Personally, I don't think this is the best way to actually do it, but for beginners, this is definitely an option. The second way is to create an account on a cryptocurrency exchange. Now, a cryptocurrency exchange is simply a place for you to, well, exchange your money like a dollar, yen, or euro for cryptocurrency. These are currently some of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the entire world. The best exchange to use for beginners, hands down, is Coinbase. If you're more of an advanced user, I would definitely check out Coinbase Pro. You also have Kraken, Gemini, CEX.io, and Binance US. These exchanges allow you to purchase crypto just using your bank account, your credit card, or your debit card. Now, you will need to go through something called KYC, which means know your customer. Basically, this is their way to verify you, and you're going to need something like your driver's license, a passport, or some other government-issued documents to make sure that they, well, know who you are. The benefits of these exchanges are that they allow you to access your own private wallets, which then you can access your cryptocurrency at any time. Be warned though, just because you have cryptocurrency on an exchange does not mean it's 100% safe. The only 100% safe way to store your cryptocurrency is on a ledger. More about this in a future video. So in order to actually make money with cryptocurrency, the whole goal is to buy it, now that you know how to do that, hold it, and then you want to sell it at a higher price. Now, while it might seem rather obvious to never sell at a lower price, people do this all the time. They let their emotions get involved, and if a cryptocurrency goes down by 10, 15, 20, even 50%, sometimes they sell it at a loss just so they can get half their money back and they don't lose more. People are more afraid of losing money than actually being patient and waiting for the market to cycle and return. Now, the second way to make money with cryptocurrency is to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Just kidding, but if you could do that, I sincerely appreciate it. And if you're liking this video and you find it of any sort of value, smash the like button. Thank you for liking the video. I sincerely appreciate it. The second way is to lend or stake your cryptocurrency. If you're familiar with how dividend stocks work, this is a very similar concept. Now, for the beginners out there, staking means that you lend your cryptocurrency to another institution or an exchange. They will then pay you back a percentage annually depending upon a multitude of factors. Let me share with you how this works in an example. On one exchange, cex.io, you can see that I have 3 different cryptocurrencies I have staked on their website. Each cryptocurrency earns a different amount depending on the current percentages. Remember, most banks give you less than 1% to save your money with them. On cex.io, the Matic cryptocurrency has an annual return of 18 to 22%. That's more than 20 times your bank is offering you. And that also doesn't include the amount of money that you could actually earn with the cryptocurrency if the value goes up, which is why you would be buying the cryptocurrency in the first place. So not only will you get gains on the cryptocurrency increasing in value, but you're gonna get massive compounding gains just by staking and lending your cryptocurrency. This compounding interest is how billionaires like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett have literally made their money. Now, the best part about staking and lending is the pure passive income. You literally just buy the cryptocurrency, stake it, and then you're earning more of that cryptocurrency 24/7, 365. It really is that simple. You can also withdraw your cryptocurrency on a lot of these exchanges at any time. Now, there are a lot of fine details that go into staking, so make sure to do your research. But if you do staking and lending correctly, you could be on the beach in Maui earning some of that sweet cryptocurrency while soaking up the rays and drinking that coconut water. If you know, you know. Now, you might be saying, Joe, this sounds too good to be true. Are there risks? Yes, of course, there's risks in everything in life. Your crypto could go down in value and it could go to zero. An exchange could get hacked and you could lose your keys and your password to everything. Yes, there are definitely risks. You should always do your own research first before investing. Now, let me share with you some of the best places that you can stake your cryptocurrency and where I have some of my cryptocurrency staked currently. My favorite by far is the Celsius network. The really cool thing about the Celsius network is that it's an app that goes right on your phone. They currently have some of the highest cryptocurrency earnings of anywhere on the market. I'd highly recommend giving them a look. The second is cex.io. They have some really competitive rates and it's really easy to use. The third is Kraken. I love Kraken because they have some really high rates and they pay you twice a week. With 2 clicks of a button, you can stake, and with 2 more clicks, you can unstake. It's really that simple. Also highly recommend crypto.com, BlockFi, and Binance US. If you want some free cryptocurrency or to check these out, check the links in the description. Everything will be there for you at the end of the video. The third way to earn money with cryptocurrency is by buying altcoins. When you think of cryptocurrency, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Bitcoin, right? Did you know that there are literally thousands of other cryptocurrencies that you can buy, sell, and trade? These are called altcoins, which stands for alternative cryptocurrencies to Bitcoin. Every other cryptocurrency out there besides Bitcoin is considered an altcoin. Here are some of the most popular altcoins at the time of this recording: Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Dash, Chainlink, Polkadot, Tether, and Cardano. Each altcoin is unique in its own way, and by doing your own research, you can find out whether or not you should invest some of your money into these altcoins. Personally, right now, I own